Okay, so as we get started, it's their story, and I'm going to let them tell their story. What we're going to talk about is the fact that, Dave, if you've ever had a student that you say, I'd like you to do what I say and follow the road, these people are prime examples, right? Tyrus and Maya are the ones that did every single thing that you taught them.
Wow.
So,
Good stuff.
yeah. So go ahead and let us know kind of what your background was and how you got started.
All right, and what my background is, because I'm still a W-2 employee. Well, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Tyrus Gamble. This is my wife, Maya Gamble. We've been married for 18 years. We just celebrated our 18th wedding anniversary last Monday. All right. So as you can see on the board here, I am a senior human resource manager in the BPO industry. My wife is an educator in the public school system, 19 years of teaching your kids. God bless her. But okay, our journey started with my wife, and I don't know if you want to tell this story. She's driving home. I guess it was from school. I don't even know where you're coming from. She comes in the kitchen. She said,
Actually, I was on my way to spend money, and I heard about the Lifestyles Unlimited presentation so I could make money. So I ran home to tell him about it.
There you go. And so prior to that, I had been watching some videos online, just trying to understand what's my path, right? And if you guys have experienced this, being in HR, being in the benefits world, got money in 401k, and there's so much fluctuation. And I wanted to have a little bit more control. So I started looking into real estate. My wife came home, said lifestyles. So we logged on, attended the free workshop. And I'll say,
when she first said lifestyles, do you think it was a nudist colony or a swingers club?
Yeah, I'm like, what is this, right?
Yeah, it's a weird name.
Yeah, weird name, but lifestyle is what our commitment was to our family, to change our lifestyle. We came from a background where financial literacy wasn't really taught. We learned how to balance the checkbook, budget, well into our college years. First couple of years of marriage, we took workshops. We learned certain principles of, having that foundation we needed, how to save, how to budget, that really propelled us, I think, to where we are right now. That gave us the capital we needed to get started. But anywho, we attended the first seminar, the free one, and I looked at Maya and I was like, well, you know what? Even if we pay this, I think it was like $250 was a promotion at that time, and we just gain a little bit of knowledge to put us on the right path, it's worth it. Well, it was more than worth it because we're still here. And we closed our first deal. So,
and that was, let's go through the timeline. Yeah. I think it's on the next slide there, David.
Yeah, so in November of 2020, so obviously we had a lot of time at home, right? Had a lot of time to sit around and talk. So we attended the workshop, started the journey. By January, we were already in the process of looking at properties. We were trying to find that model, that 222 within the age range of the home. We were able to identify property. One thing we did, we were very proactive in building our team. During the free workshop, they talked about building your team, be prepared for the moment. And our journey just started there. So once we laid that foundation, we were able to put an offer on a house. We closed quickly.
You did this all during COVID?
All during COVID.
And that didn't scare you?
No, it didn't. No.
Yeah. And that's what I say. You guys, you came to the seminar, you took heed to what was being taught. And that's what's important on this slide is the timeline. I mean, you just got your introduction in November. We're 4 months later, you're cash flowing. Yeah. And you did it by being proactive. You went out there and did everything you were taught to do. And let's get into that next slide, because this is where you did it, in Amarillo, Texas, from Dallas. Yeah. Okay?
How far away explain how far away Amarillo is for people, all of America watching.
Yeah, so we're 5 to 6 hours away from Amarillo. And we're Dallas native, born and raised in Dallas area. And so, yeah, Amarillo is our little nugget right now. I set the parameters, kind of reaching out to realtors, network with people on social media. And I went to realtor.com actually, and logged on, and that first picture to your left was the home picture for a property that we were looking at. And as you go through the seminar, you're going to identify properties based on your age and the 322s and so forth. But when I saw this picture, it actually caught my eye. And what caught my eye is there's a problem. Somebody is selling for a reason, and whoever the realtor is, they didn't do a good job of making that the first picture you saw. So I contacted a friend of mine who was on Facebook, and she's a realtor in Amarillo. She connected with us, and when we got in, we did a walkthrough on FaceTime. And
So you didn't go out there, you actually did it all through FaceTime.
FaceTime, yeah.
It's called modern technology. It works.
But here's the thing. This was all courtesy of a dreadful marketing of some, because I don't know if you guys can see this, but that very first front picture to advertise this property has a stray dog and a cat or something running through the backyard. To me, I thought it was an open lot and the house still needed to be built. That's the backyard. So all those pictures are dreadful marketing, like if someone would be interested in buying this house because of a ceiling fan. But you did exactly, yeah, or the old gross tub. But Tyrus did exactly what we should do. Is this looks like money to me. It looks like a good deal. But what happened is it actually turned out to be a gem.
Yeah, it was a gem.
But he pursued it. He took action and got out there and did it. So go ahead and tell us about your little gem.
Yeah, we were totally surprised. So when the realtor got in and we did a walkthrough, I'm like, okay, this is more ready than what we thought it would be based on what we were seeing on the initial pictures. And so obviously let's put an offer on the house, and less than a week, the offer was accepted. And we also, this was a nugget for us because the couple who were selling, unfortunately, were getting a divorce. And so the timing was kind of perfect from that standpoint as well to really get it under market. So at that time, we bought it for $113 a square foot. Now that same community is selling at about $124, $125 a square feet and even higher. I mean, you guys know what the market is doing now. So to be able to get in and the house being in that condition where we only had to do minor things to get it up and running, and within 3 weeks of closing, we had a tenant in the house.
And here's our thing, you thought at first glance that this would be a distressed property that would need a lot of rehab so that you could be an value add. But as you mentioned, and as you found out, is we're always saying the market doesn't stop. There's always death, divorce, taxes, deferred maintenance, and anything else. So you've got to get out there and be proactive and look, which is exactly what you guys did. And here's how your numbers landed. Okay, so you paid $158 for it?
Yeah, so purchase price was at $158. Our cash out of pocket was $31. You can see the numbers here. There was
only a $2,000 rehab, so some touch-up paint, some caulk around the tub.
So it was painting. Some of the pictures that are not on there, they had a mint green in the bathrooms, sky blue in one of the.
Keep that?
No, we didn't keep. So we took the approach of making the house uniform. So we kept the beige concept that was in the other rooms. Uniform. Blinds were missing, so put in blinds, toilets, and got those ready and functional. But yeah.
So the way that we do our numbers here, obviously, immediately there was a 10 grand potential equity, and then once you did your rehab and paid your closing costs and everything, so you've got a little money in here. You weren't going for a big value play because this is a 2006, 2003.
This one is a 2009.
2009. So it's relatively.
You feel comfortable? Your first deal, not a lot of work, built in 2009.
Yeah.
That's a good, easy kind of house.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here's where your returns come out really well. And just like Dave said, now you're getting an 8% return on capital gain with the equity that you've made in that for your $31,000. That $31,000 was not getting you 8% sitting in the bank. Now, was it?
Not.
Okay.
Not at all.
And then your cash flowing. And what that cash flow represents is using property management because you're out of town.
Yeah, so we opted to use a property manager. The actual cash flow on it is $505 a month. But we said, hey, because it's in Amarillo, it's a little bit further away. It's our first deal. And we were establishing a team, and the property manager, we found there's a great connection there at this point. So we decided, let's just go that route and just.
You put on easy mode.
Just put it on
no
easy
headaches.
mode.
Yeah.
And it gave us the ability to focus on our next opportunity because I didn't want to be in a situation where we're getting phone calls, and I wanted to concentrate on the next deal.
So you're making 14% a year.
14%.
Yeah, and
that's tax-free.
That was a huge deal to us because I've been teaching my children financial literacy, right?
Yeah.
Got my 15-year-old daughter has a savings account, and we log in and you get $1 worth of dividends, right? It's like, okay, our money is better served somewhere else, right? And to know that obviously to get even a 14% return.
Well, look at that, guys. That's, $4,000 extra a year.
Yeah.
You gave yourself a raise.
Yes, I did.
Tax-free. Now you buy a bunch of these, it'll be pretty good, won't it?
Yeah. Well, that's the plan.
There you go.
Yeah. And so there you're on your way.
Yeah.
And you had said that you knew your why going in there. When Dave was asking everybody else about your why, you had talked to me about that.
Yeah, and honestly, our why is built on our family unit. Once again, we've been very passionate about our future and how we get there and the financial literacy standpoint of it and understanding, what does, age 59 and a half look like, right? Waiting on that 401k really wasn't the best route for me. Obviously that's still a vehicle that's present, but I was like, God, it has to be something else that we can do from setting ourselves up for that retirement phase of our life. So, I mean, we heard your presentation on the 5-year goal. I was like,
and you did it.
You're not doing it in 5 years, but being on that path now, it's like, okay, this is realistic. I can feel them. Yeah.
And you know what's great about this is we just showed two of the numbers up here. We showed the capital gains, we showed the cash flow. But hit in the back of your minds, I want you to think about this. I teach there's 5 different ways. Every time that renter pays the rent, what are they doing? They're paying down that mortgage. That's called principal pay down. Do you think this house could go up in value every year? What are houses going up? Like 10% a year right now. It's not like 10% on the amount, the 30,000 they invested. It's 10% on what the house is worth.
Yeah.
What's this house worth now?
Oh,
like around
165, 168.
So
range.
let's say 160. That'd be $16,000 a year goes up in value. Has that happened to you guys here? The house you lived in has done that, right? So think about that. They put 30 grand out, but they're making 16 grand a year in capital gains if you think about it, as it goes up appreciating.
Yeah.
And of course, the tax.
Yeah, and I'm a spreadsheet nerd in the family, so and I use very moderate projection. I use 3.5% growth.
Okay.
As far as appraisal, and I was like, okay, within 2 to 3 years, we get 100% return on that 31,000 that we put in on the deal. I was like, well, where else can you really get that, right? In 5 years, it's at 277% return on that. So if I'm praying that the market, increases and we get to that 7%.
But you don't have to pray. By that time, you need to be in multifamily. Just take that out and roll it into multifamily. Yeah, absolutely. So many new people will have a hard time wrapping their head around that concept. When you said, well, he says 5 years, I'm not sure that we'll make that. You will make that. When I give mentor meetings with people and they set their goals and they say, I'd like to do that. And I said, no, that is not fast enough. You can absolutely go faster and you have to push yourself, and you guys do. So when you see what's next here, let's talk about first who's on their team, because did we miss the what's next? No, I guess it is team first. I want to get to your what's next though. Can we save this for questions?
Sure, that's fine.
Because I really do want.
Go ahead, cover. What do you want to cover? You're in charge right now.
Okay, because what are you doing now? You have that one house, but what do you have?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, we opted to get a property manager to help, take some of that thought, the task-driven part out of the way. And I said, well, we have some momentum. Let's go ahead and start looking at the same area, subdivision. We've already run comps. We've already rental comps were already provided.
So we already knew.
Yeah, we knew what this particular area could yield for us. So let's try to find something else. And the same realtor I worked with on the first one, she shot another deal my way, and it was like, okay, let's go ahead and jump on it. And ironically, Amarillo was a little bit behind on the kind of that tailspin of going up, and they have a builder there, and the houses were on the market for 160. They were building for 160. 322s and about 1,400 square feet, and we went ahead and locked in a contract on a new build as well. Put down our earnest money. Of course, it won't be done until 2022.
It's okay, you got it in your pocket.
Yeah, so we got that one. So hopefully, by the end of this year, going into 2022, we'll for sure have three properties.
Not bad.
Definitely.
3 a year, we'll be okay with that.
The thing is, Tyrus and Maya, you guys, you did what you were supposed to do. You built your team. You found the market that sustained what Dave teaches and what Lee teaches on you took the four 4-part
Yeah, we did the
over the
4-part
internet.
course.
Absolutely. What we teach is a particular model that is going to work well, very little risk. You employed that, you found an area, and then you didn't bother reinventing the wheel. You just said, give me some more of that. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. This house looks practically like the very first one.
Yeah.
So I love that. Let's go back to who's on your team, because we've been talking about teams. Now, these are some of the folks in our vendor program. And of course, my coworker, Rick Johnson, was actually your mentor, but we kind of worked as a team. Yeah. We always ask you to email us as a team when you reach out. But Rick, say hi to everyone. He was instrumental in helping you there.
Yeah, definitely. Rick was, and I sent Rick 2 deals before we actually landed this one. We put an offering on 4 homes that we didn't get. And Rick was able to pull our quest. Well, he looked at our quest numbers, the spreadsheet, and say, okay, here are my recommendation. In doing so as well, the other vendors you see here, we went to the portal, pulled those different vendors, and basically picked up the phone and was asking questions. Okay, tell me about, you know, the insurance costs. Now trying to really understand what our cash flow would look like by having a good level of insurance at a great enough price where our cash flow wouldn't be impacted too badly, right? But still have a good plan. And I'm gonna give a shout out to someone else in the room that I talked to as well. But we also looked at home warranty offers. But yeah, so those moments of picking up the phone and calling us educated us as well on what path we needed to take, and making that final decision to say, hey, this is who we're gonna go with, how we're going to go with it, and it just kind of happened.
Yeah, and the fact that you had to analyze 4 or 5 properties before going to this one is great practice for you. Now you are in control of your investment. We're still here to guide you and be a second set of eyes, but you have to learn how to do this, and now you're very confident to keep moving forward. Absolutely. So what's next?
Well, of course, Lori asked us, like, what are your long-term aspirations? You know, when you think about being able to retire, and so obviously these are some things we've identified. I've mentioned my children earlier and how important it is for us to really lay a path for them, right, and to get them started. My wife loves to travel, so the beach is it's always on her mind, right? But, you know, just taking advantage of the things that we love to do, and to do it more often. I love to play golf. So if I could spend more time on a golf course, that wouldn't hurt as well. And I am a musician. I play the piano, keyboard, and that gives me an opportunity, hopefully, to kind of dive into that world a little bit more.
It don't even matter if you make no money.
No,
right,
because you got to have the real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to use that commodity of time, how you want to spend it. Yep. Absolutely.
So I have a question for both y'all. There's a bunch of new people here, never been here before. What advice would you give to the new people?
You want to ask me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, get like Nike and just do it.
Definitely get in the game, do it. But even before you jump in, know your why. Like, why are you doing it? During the workshop, they're going to ask you to develop your plan. What are your goals? And do your short-term, kind of mid-level and long-term goals. And as you're doing that, it helps you kind of work in reverse, backwards as well, to say, okay, here are my long-term aspirations. How do I get there? What are the step-by-step? And then once again, the model is there. You just have to fit yourself into that model and align your personal aspirations to it. And then and then just go from there.
That's good.
Appreciate you sharing. Let's take some questions.
Sure.
We have a few time.
Do you have any questions in the room? I'm gonna.
Where are you playing your gigs?
His question is, where are you playing your gigs?
All right. So I in a church setting, first and foremost. So I currently play at 2 churches in Arlington, which I've been doing that for about 10 years now.
Chopsticks, right?
Chopsticks.
Cool. You have a question?
Sure. Are we going to the mic?
Well, I can do
All
this,
right.
unless you're afraid of it.
But I don't want to do the good thing.
That's fine.
So how did you find your realtor in Amarillo?
Oh, great question. So I was obviously in the HR world, and I'm on LinkedIn and different social media platforms. So that was a connection I had there. I met her in DC. I went to a HR conference there, and I saw she posted that she became a real estate agent. So I sent her an email, said, hey, you're in Amarillo, put me on your distro list. Here's what I'm looking for. Obviously, it was coming in, but that first property I actually found that just by getting online. I made it a commitment to do that at least a couple hours a day, searching for properties, and I found that, and I sent it to her. And but she
Yeah, so just so you know what he's talking about, in the seminar, the way when I show you a property, I'm really teaching you how to go out there and find one on your own. So you can use the parameters, so he knew how to search for it, whether it was me or Lee taught him how to do that.
And
Was there anything special about Amarillo?
The question was there anything special about Amarillo? Why'd you pick that?
Yeah, so after diving in, one, property taxes there were a lot lower. So obviously it's going up now, but it was $2,800 when I started the journey. That area was paying about $2,800 in taxes. Obviously the house prices were in our budget because we sat down and said, this is how much we want to be able to go in with. So it checked that box for us. And I don't know the parameters in it was the development area. We saw an article in November that Amazon was building a warehouse in like 5 miles from this subdivision. So we're like, okay, you got 5 Walmarts there, got Amazon building. It's some movement. Something is going on in that community. So, you know, that was one of the many reasons.
Let's take a couple. Do you have online questions or no?
Yeah, we have a few.
Okay, can you pick out like 2?
Yeah. So, all right. So the first question is, how did you raise the 31,000 cash out of pocket?
And that's a question for somebody online.
So I leveraged my 401k. So
Loan against it?
yeah, I was very strict on contributing 10% from the time I started working with the company I'm working with now, almost 15 years. So I pulled 50,000 from my 401k, and I took 10K from my personal savings just to get us started. So 60K is what I went into the game with, just saying, okay, I don't know where we're gonna go, but this is what I'm gonna use to get us started. And then the other vehicle, we're debt free as well. So no credit cards, no student loans, no vehicles, none of that, other than our mortgage. But that gave us the ability to out and continue to save every month. And so we have that surplus that we leverage as well for our ongoing opportunities. But my initial starting came from pulling from my 401k and then just about 10,000 from my personal savings.
Yeah, if you want to get wealthy faster, live fiscally conservative. If you live off 40% whatever you make, as you make more and more money in this, you reward yourself. So if you're making 100 grand a year, live 40 grand a year. You're making 200 grand a year, live 80 grand a year. This way, as you make more money, that's how you become successful faster. So if you're a truck driver making 50 grand a year, you live 20 grand a year, we will retire in 5 years less. If you're a doctor making $300,000 a year and your wife spends $500 a year, I can't fix that.
Roni was asking if investing in foreclosed properties works.
The question was, does investing in foreclosed properties work? I don't know if yours was foreclosed.
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
This one wasn't even a foreclosure, guys. Now, do I teach foreclosures? Absolutely. I'll show you how to find them this weekend. Just like how he did. It's the same way we search.
Okay.
Oh, that's easy.
Is that it? One more. Okay. We'll take one more. We can only take so many.
Last question from Nina, and she was asking, what level membership are you guys? Are you preferred or challenge?
The question was, what level membership you got?
So challenge members. And we decided to do the challenge route because once again, going in nervous, not sure, you know, you're pulling this amount of money out. And I'm like, babe, don't want to lose it.
Yep.
Let's use some wisdom. And so we opted to do the challenge to have a mentor, to be able to call a Rick and a Lori as well to help us in those moments where we didn't know and we can just ask questions. So just really kind of mitigating the risk. And we opted to
great
do,
reason.
and the resources that came along with it as well. Now the bonus was, I don't know if it's still going on now, but it was the second year add-on. So kind of looking at that, I was like, oh, that's a plus.
Change, yeah.
So,
change time to time.
but yeah, that was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys followed the map. We're so very proud of
Absolutely.
you. Very happy for you. Leo's got one question.
Okay, Leo, one last thing. Hurry up.
Only for Leo.
The question is, are you going to look here in Dallas?
Well, I'm looking everywhere. And once again, Amarillo was a little bit comfortable because it's 5 hours away. So, and being a challenge member, we get houses at Houston and
them anyway, yeah.
Dallas. And I'm like, well, if we can drive 4 hours to Houston or 5 hours to San Antonio, we can also do that same distance north. But yes, in our area. So if that
And
opportunity
this is
comes
what's
up,
so powerful about what
Yeah.
Tyrus made this decision. He didn't say, I want something in my backyard. Invest wherever it makes sense. Live wherever you want. So it doesn't matter. Tyrus, it being 7 hours away drive is no different than a guy from California flying. You understand? So we have people all across America that invest all across. You don't have to live next to it. Real estate, we just figure in the fees. He's still making $300 a month, even with property management. That will work for him. So if he can make a better deal there, make a better deal there. It doesn't matter where it is.
Or not only that, a better deal, but just to get started. Don't
Yeah.
sit around and wait.
Don't wait for the perfect
opportunity.
unicorn. Yeah, buy one.
Get
These are
going.
great deals, and he's not gonna have any headaches. One's 2009, one's 2022.
Yeah.
You know, he made one build in 2022 because he wanted to pass COVID numbers. Well, thank you
Awesome.
so
Thank
much,
you
guys.
so
We really
much.
appreciate you giving back and sharing your story. Give him a hand. That's huge.